All right. Good morning. 9 a.m. session. We are here today. And if you're looking for the participation guide, you can go to flowering.itcsforall.com. Also, it is in the classroom in that course Wakelet. So all the resources are available to you. Also, this morning, I just published in the course the day 4 module. So you'll find the optional homework if you're interested in doing that in that module. Today's focus is going to be a lot on the LTIs, those external tools that you can incorporate. So we have some examples of those. So if you're trying to get an idea of some of the interactive stuff that you can build into your course, that's going to be some great examples of things you can do with your students. So we have a lot to cover today. So let's get to it. First objective today is going to be understanding how to set up assignment groups and how to assign weight to them. So we'll know a little bit more exactly about how this is going to talk to the gradebook in August or September. But right now, this is just if you wanted to set up groups of assignments. If you're like in a standards-based school and you have summative, formative, and informative assignments, how can you set up those groups in Canvas? The second thing we're going to do is understand how to see student activities with analytics. So you can see student activity, how much they participate, how many times they've logged in, what they've looked at, all with the analytics part of the classroom. That can be really helpful if you're doing parent-teacher conference. You can be like, well, actually, I can see that your child hasn't done any of this or even looked at it. Objective 3, we're going to understand some of the features of the gradebook. And again, we don't exactly know how it's going to talk to the hub or what things we might have to do to set that up. We're still waiting on all that. So we'll know more, and when we know more, we will share more. Objective 4, understand how to use SpeedGrader to grade student work. So SpeedGrader is great. And if you have an iPad, I cannot recommend enough to put the teacher Canvas app on your iPad. The grading and being able to write on student work with your finger or with an Apple Pencil is amazing. So if you have one of those as a personal device, I would definitely recommend downloading that Canvas for Teachers app. 5, we'll go briefly into Studio, how to create a video and how to turn it into a quiz. And then lastly, I plan and hope to spend most of the time today looking at those external app and integrations and how to embed content, because this is where you're going to really make the course engaging and enriching for your students. So let's get to it. This, okay. All right. So the first thing that we're going to cover is setting up assignment groups. So I'm here in my classroom on the assignments tab, and you'll see that when you first make your class, you just have one group, and it's called assignments. But many of us are in standards-based schools, so we use summative, formative, and informative for our assessments. There may be other ways that you group assessments in your level or your content, and you can use those as well. But I'm just going to use the standards-based model as an example. So if I'm in my assignments page and I want to make assignment groups, I click on the plus group button, and I'm going to call this one summative. And this is going to be 90% of my grade, and I'm going to save it. So now I have that summative thing. Then I'm going to create formative, and formative is going to be 10% of the grade. And you can weight those however you want. And then my last group is going to be informative, and that is going to be 0% of my grade. So those are just those assignments that inform students' learning, but they don't count for anything. So now when I make an assignment, when I choose that assignment, I can choose that group, and it would put it in that group and weight it that way. Now I see someone in the chat saying that theirs doesn't have the weighting. So on this page from the assignment group, you'll need to click here on these 3 little dots right by assignment. And you can assignment groups weight. You're going to go there. And then you can put your weightings in there. So if you didn't have that box initially, you're just going to go to the 3 dots at the top, right next to the blue assignment button, look for assignment group weights, and then put your weights in. All right. Any questions, Biz, about assignment weights and anything?
No, I think you are in good shape.
All right. So next I'm going to go to analytics. So from your main page of your course, okay, you'll see a button on the right-hand side that says New Analytics. You can click on that button. And here's where you'll be able to explore how much activity students have participated in. You can look at it by the course, weekly activity, and you can actually even go further and look at it by students. So if I want to look at my student data, I can see, okay, I can see that Nancy Berg, her last activity, her last participation in the class, the date. I can see how many pages they view. And so this really can give you an idea of how much participation and how much activity your students are doing in the class. You can look at it even further by clicking on the student, and it would give you more precise data about what they've looked like, even their communication and their weekly activity. So that's a great way to keep tabs, and again, a great thing to pull up when you're having a parent-teacher conference. Yeah, for those of you who missed that, that is the New Analytics button, and that is on from the Home tab. You'll see New Analytics on the right. Any other questions about analytics? We good, Biz?
Yeah, I think we're good. You're doing great.
All right. Yeah, I know we're kind of zooming through these things.
Oh, no, we do have a question. Does New Analytics show specific assignments that are missing?
So you can see the assignments that are missing from the gradebook, and I'll show you that when we get there, which is next. All right, so you'll have a grades tab. And it looks like a gradebook, very much like a gradebook. Again, we're not quite sure how it will look in talking to the hub, but it looks just like a standard gradebook. I can click on a student's box and I can enter a score. And I can also click this little arrow and the side menu will come up. There we go. And I can mark it late, missing, or excused. And you can also, when you create, set up your gradebook, you can have it auto populate the missing work. So if something's late, it will show in the gradebook. If I wanted to get to the speed grader to grade the student's assignment, I would just click on speed grader, or I can just enter the grade right here from the screen and leave comments. Something in the top right corner, you'll see the little gear. And this is where you can set up the posting policy and the late policies. So we don't in Prince William County deduct anything for a late grade. So you would not use this second option to deduct late work, but you could do this, automatically apply a grade for missing work. You could put a 0 to give that kid that place marker of, oh, you haven't turned it in yet. But remember, we don't deduct anything for late work in the county. It's not in the grading policy to allow that. So don't use this second option. Then the grade posting policy. You have 2 options. You can automatically post grades. And that means once you put a grade into that box, the student will see it. Or you can manually post grades. That means you can put everything in the box. The students won't see it until you push a button that posts the grades, and then they can see everything that you put in. So maybe you want to, it's just depending on your style, if you want it to automatically sync, or if you feel like maybe you're prone to making errors, sometimes you want to put everything in and then post manually. It's totally up to you. No recommendation, it's just your preference. So some things you can do, you can export your gradebook and import your gradebook. So you can import a spreadsheet or a CSV of your grades and import it, and you can also export it. You can do different views. You can arrange by assignment name, due date, the points of, and module. So I can order these by module, first to last. No, it's not playing with me very well. But you can order the way they appear. Here we go. Now it's ordered across the way in the order of the modules. So you can change your view. And then also you can, the learning mastery, that is connected to outcomes. So you're actually, if you're using outcomes, and I posted a video about this in the Facebook group, if you really want to get into outcomes, you actually will have kind of two grade books. You'll have this grade book of points and numeric grades. And then you would also have like a mastery grade book that is aligned to outcomes. We're still not sure what KLC, if they are loading outcomes, when they're loading outcomes. But if you associate an assignment with an outcome, you would have this second grade book that shows the outcomes. So then I'm going to go back to grade book, just the regular grade book. And that pretty much covers the actual grade book. I'm going to get to SpeedGrader next, but did we have any questions, Biz, about gradebook itself?
Only a couple. I'm not fast enough to type to. The question is, do we need to group graded assignments by quarter, or do the due dates take care of that for us?
That is one thing we're going to need to wait to find out with the syncing of the hub. So we don't know that quite yet.
Okay. And can you give a, I don't know, 20-second explanation of outcomes?
Yeah. So outcomes, we call them standards. So in your course, I'll just go to the course itself. You would see outcomes here. You can upload your outcomes. We're hoping that KLC is putting those in, because really that should be like a top-down thing. And so outcomes are your standards. So you can create an outcome, and this would be Earth Science, ES2A, and then like the friendly name would be rocks, and then a description of that standard, and then you can have a rubric that associates to it, and then how that grade is calculated on different assignments over time. So again, there's a really great video I put in the Facebook group that explains, it's like a whole hour on outcomes. So I would really, if you're wanting to dive into that and know more about that, go watch that. That was made by VisState and Virtual Virginia last week. And a teacher showed all about how to create outcomes. But again, we're really hoping that those get loaded at the KLC level and pushed down. And then every time you make an assignment, you'll associate an outcome with it. And that will produce the second grade book that shows mastery.
Awesome, thank you. And then here's a question I don't know the answer to, but I was asked yesterday too. Do we know about how K-2 grades work? Because they're S's and N's and stuff.
I don't know yet. We're still waiting for that hub information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanvks. I think we're good.
All right. So the next thing I'm going to show you is about SpeedGrader, and SpeedGrader is the grading tool in Canvas. I'm going to start from my dashboard, because that's personally where I think it's easiest to start from for grading work. Instead of going to hunt down the assignment in each class, I love the little to-do list that Canvas creates right here. So this is my teacher to-do list. This is all the things that I have to grade grade, and it tells me right here. The reason my list is so long is because I've been saving things for this session to show you how to grade, because I didn't want to not have anything to grade. Usually I am a little bit OCD and I keep this list clear. So let's talk about discussion. I'm going to show you how a discussion would be graded. The really great thing about assigning a discussion is if you tell students like you have to make your original response and then add 2 others, you'll see everything that student has contributed on the SpeedGrader on one page. So I'm going to see the student's original response, and if they had responded to anyone else, their other responses would be down here. So if the assignment was post 1 original response and 2 responses to classmates, you'd see it all on one page. You don't have to go hunting through that discussion board, and you'll be able to quickly give them a grade, leave them any comments, and submit. You can leave comments just by typing text here. You can attach something. So if you had a file with like maybe a better exemplar, you could attach that and be like, hey, yours looks good, but maybe look at this and make sure you know, this is a way to level up next time. You can provide video feedback. So I can record right here feedback for students. And I think in the remote setting, that's going to be a super powerful tool in creating that culture and connecting with students when we're not in the same place. We still need to be giving them our face as much as possible. You can also respond with audio. So I just, you know, maybe I'm not comfortable on the camera quite yet. I'm just going to practice doing some audio. I'm going to give some feedback. You can see it types right on the screen. And then I'm going to stop. And then actually that puts that right into the assignment comments. So that's pretty cool. So you can speech to text your comments. I guess that's different than audio. So if I just wanted to provide audio, I would just turn the webcam off here in the media. All right. That is SpeedGrader for a discussion. I now want to show you SpeedGrader for another kind of assignment. Let's see what I got here. So I'm hoping that this is a type that I can annotate on. Yeah, it is. Great. Perfect. So they provided me a screenshot. The student submitted a screenshot to me, and I have received it in the SpeedGrader. And I'll know that I can annotate it because I'm going to see this gray box around it and all of the menu options. So I can drop a pin on their response, and I can then leave a comment. I can also highlight something. If there was text, if this was a text, I could highlight it. I can add text right on it. I can cross through. Again, if this was text, I could strike through something as maybe I would edit something. And then I can draw on it. So I can pick a color and I can literally draw, underline, circle. The circling and stuff is way better on the iPad. So that's where like, this is so good to do when it's just your finger on the screen to circle and highlight things. So that's the way you would annotate it. And the student will see that feedback on their side when you've submitted their feedback. So to get to the next student, you might be like, oh, well, how do I get to the next student? In the top corner, you can click on their name and then you'll see your list of students. You're gonna see an orange dot if the student has submitted. It's gonna be grayed out if the student has not submitted, and it's gonna be green check marks if you've already graded it. So that is how you can go just quickly to the next student. So I can click on her and I'll go to the next student's name. Now, the very first time you open SpeedGrader, you're gonna go to the gear and you wanna go to options. The default is to sort students by name. So in that list, everyone would be sorted by name. It wouldn't be sorted by green dot or orange dots, grayed out, check mark. It would all just be mixed up. I like to sort it by submission status. So that's a setting you want to do like the very first time you go into SpeedGrader. And then once you do it, it will be set. And then it will sort it by orange dot, not done, green check mark. You also have this option to hide student names in SpeedGrader. So if you want to be grading things anonymously, you have that option right there. And then if you're trying to look at an assignment and not see their names associated with. All right. One moment, I think my coworker is being a little bit loud. Okay, sorry. Coworkers at home. All right, so that is SpeedGrader and how to annotate on the screen and how to navigate from one student to the next. What other questions do we have, Biz?
If a student deletes an assignment, can you see that they deleted it?
No, you won't see that they deleted it, but you will see it. Yeah, if they delete it, then no. But they can submit multiple times.
Can you show one more time, because I've seen this question come up a bunch, can you show one more time how to get to SpeedGrader?
Sure.
Also, not just from the to-do list, but from Gradebook, please.
Yep, sure. So the to-do list, you would just click on the item here. If you want to get to it from the Gradebook, you would go to Grades. And you can see this way is a little bit more cumbersome. That's why I really like the to-do list. But you can always, you might go through the grade book if you want to go back and re-look at something that you've already graded. All right, so I want to click on this student, a little arrow will come up. And this menu will come up, and then I can go to SpeedGrader right there for that assignment and that student. So you can either go from the dashboard and your to-do list, or you can go from the grade book, clicking the little arrow here, and then going to SpeedGrader. Any other questions, Biz?
I think we're good.
All right, great. All righty, we're moving right along. Next thing we're gonna cover is Studio. Just Studio. Anyone? No. All right.
That's very funny. Good job, Katie.
Thank you. All right, your Studio. This is your place to create video. This is also your place to import videos and share videos then with your students. So you can record a video, and I'm not going to do it here because it would make my computer like basically crash. But if I press record, I can either just capture my screen or capture my webcam. So if I wanted to show people something on a screen, I could record my screen. The first time you do that, you'll have to download a little plugin, and it will lead you through it on the screen. And it's the Screencast-O-Matic is basically built into Canvas. So that's the tool you'd be using. If you end up not liking Screencast-O-Matic, that's okay. You have other options for recording your screen, and we can provide you with some of those options like Loom or Screencastify and tell you how you might use those. But Screencast-O-Matic is built in, and that's what's here. So you can capture your screen, or you can capture yourself on a webcam. So you would create your video, and it would end up here in your collection or your library. You can divide your library into collections, so folders. So if this was world history, I could put any of my world history videos in that collection. Okay, and I'm gonna go back to my library. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna, oh, I already have 2 collections. All right, so I'm gonna move this video to my collection. And so now that video will be in that folder. So if I have tons of videos for different topics, I can put them in folders. So if you're a little bit OCD like me, you can organize your videos. You can also import videos from YouTube or upload videos. So if you just want to add a video, so if you were to record something in Loom or Screencastify, you would just drag and bring it in right here. If you were to find something on YouTube, you would just paste the URL here and click add. After you upload it or import it, it will appear right here. Let's see what else. So if I have a video, I'm going to go back to this one. When I open the video that I've made and put into Canvas Studio, I want to go to this tab that says captions. And I'm going to actually delete these. You'll see a box that says caption request, and it says our technology can listen to words in your video and create 85% accurate captions for this media. Okay, so every video you make, you want to request captions. You'll choose the language that the video was spoken in and say request. If you have another way to produce the SRT file, and that's a screen reading text file, you can also upload the file if you already have that there. So after you request the captions, they'll send you an email a few minutes later saying these have been created. You'll be able to come back here, click review and publish. You'll review them for accuracy. Like it says, it's only 85% accurate. So you're gonna wanna look for things like this, PWCS -zm-edu is what this said. And then you're gonna go back up and say publish. Now they're published, and when you share this video with your students, they will receive the captions. Do we have any questions about the captioning, Biz?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to this. If a video has more than one language, can you choose multiple for captions?
No, unfortunately, you can only choose one. Yeah, there's only space for one file.
Okay, so if you needed multiple languages, you'd need to have like multiple
Copies
versions.
of the, yep, exactly.
Okay.
So you'd have to have the multiple videos.
Okay, and if you had a French class, could you record a video in French and have captions in English?
If you, when you request the captions, you're gonna have to choose the language that it's spoken in, but if you create the SRT file, you can definitely upload that.
Okay, and the last question is, because of accessibility, do we have to do this for every video that we create or upload?
You sure do. Yes, you do. That is not negotiable. Captions are a must.
But being able to request them is super helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Is there any way to post to create how to create the SRT files? Sure, we can try and find something on that for you. The easiest way is to have it auto-generated and then just go in and type and correct. All right, the last thing I want to show you is that you can create a video quiz. And I'll know that I've actually created one quiz already for this video because I have added it has a little rocket ship. So that means I've created a quiz for it. But I can make another quiz. So I'm going to say quiz here. Let's see. Oh, I didn't click it. So I'm going to go to quizzes, click the three dots, click quizzes, and I'm going to say add quiz. So I'm going to make a new quiz. Now, this is like Edpuzzle if you've ever used that, but it's a little bit more limited. One, you can't make sure that the students don't skip ahead. So they can skip from one question to the next without watching the video. Two, the question types are limited to true, false, and multiple choice. We don't have free response like in Edpuzzle, which is really great. So I'm going to type Zoom for teachers. I can type a description. Now, what you can do, because students can jump ahead, is you can hide at least where the questions are. So students can't just see where the questions are. They have to at least watch to get to the questions. So that's the only way you can prevent students from trying to hack the quiz if you really want them to watch the video. So now anywhere that I put this little plus sign, I can add a question. You can say I can add multiple choice, true, false, or multiple answer. If I want to add a question here, I just slide it to there and put the little question there. I can move ahead.
You can type in, probably need to.
And put the question there. So I would probably always have a question at the very end to make sure my students got to the end of the video, to make sure they watched everything I wanted them to see. Biz, do we have any questions about quizzes?
Can you show what multiple answer is or explain it, please?
Multiple answer is just a multiple choice that they can choose more than one response. So if there was 2 right answers, they can choose that. So multiple choice is 1 right answer. Multiple response is they can choose multiple correct answers.
Right.
It does not have a type in option. No free response.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you're done making the quiz, you would just click done.
I think everything else I can handle in the chat.
All right, cool. All right. So that is Studio in a short nutshell. There's way more we could go into Studio, but I think that I know a lot of you guys want to see some of these LTI integrations and embedding stuff. So that's kind of where we wanted to spend the meat of our day today. But before, are there any general questions about Studio or videos before I move on?
Oh yeah, can you show how to assign it to a student?
Oh, sure. So in a class, oh, let's see, I guess we'll go with this one. You would make an assignment. I'm going to make a new assignment. So you don't make a quiz for this, you make an assignment. I could call it a video quiz. You can call it whatever you want. You're going to click the 3 dots and you're going to select that plugin. So those are those external apps. I'm going to click the app. I'm going to choose Canvas Studio. It's going to show me all of my videos in my studio. So if I want to use this one, select. Now it will give me a choice. Do I just want to embed the video or do I want to give the quiz? And I'm going to choose that I want to give the quiz. I'll say embed. It will put that video quiz on the screen, and then I just save that assignment. So student will be able to take the quiz and then they'll see their quiz results. Any other questions, Biz, before I move past Studio?
No, but I'm going to answer this one out loud because it's easier for me to say it than type it.
Yeah.
So this is to David's question, but I also think a lot of people experience this, that if you're trying to use that student view to look at a Office 365 assignment or something like that, you won't be able to because that test student does not have a Microsoft account. It's not a real human being with all Prince William County things. So that's a normal thing. So that's something not only you'll experience, but everyone who tries with the test student.
Yeah, and that's going to be the same for a lot of the external tools. You're not going to be able to view them as the test student. So that's where it's really helpful. I know Dan and Billy have helped us by having kids in Prince William County and letting us use their accounts to just test things out. So yeah, if you have a Prince William County student in your house, you're probably lucky because you can really add them to your classes and have them then see the real experience. But otherwise, you are going to be a little bit limited.
And do you know, can you put an image into the quizzes in Studio?
I don't know. I think it is just video, but we can look into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. We're good.
All right. So the next stage that I want to do is I want to show you some LTI integrations. And I'm actually going to be showing you these from my course in that's in my domain. You'll notice that over here, my stuff is green. That's because this course is in my school's domain, because a lot of the LTI integrations have to be input from that school level. So if you don't have some of these, that would be why. The first assignment type that I'm going to show you is an Adobe Spark assignment. So, and we have, I want to point out in the classroom. In our Canvas classroom, we have how-tos for all of these things. So in your modules, at the end of today's module, Module 4, which we published this morning, so we have how-to guides for each type of assignment. So for instance, I'm going to show the Adobe Spark version right now, how to make the Adobe Spark assignment. We have a little virtual help desk, so if you ever have questions, you can ask us on our Flipgrid about something. And then the steps to do that we've gone through to show you how to use Adobe Spark in your classroom and add it to your Canvas classroom. So we have a nice video here even, etc. So let's go to the assignment. So where you're going to find most of these LTI integrations is under submission type. So you can give this assignment any title you want, Adobe Spark, climate change, and then you're going to give your description of the directions here. That's what you put in the rich content editor. Like, here's what you're going to make. You're going to make this. I want you to include this, this, and this. Then you're going to choose external tools from submission type. You're going to say find. And this is where you're going to get your whole list of all possible external tools. And again, this depends on what's been added by your ITC and what your school's subscriptions are. So I'm going to have some things here that you may not have. Everyone should have Adobe Spark. That should be throughout. Everyone should have Canvas Studio. But not everyone's going to have things like Edpuzzle, Formative, some of these other things. So I'm just going to be showing you things that everyone will have. But your list may be different. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to show you Adobe Spark. It's going to connect. I've logged into Adobe Spark before, so it's connected to my account. And I'm going to decide what kind of assignment. This is really great option for doing summative assignments. Oh, okay, it wants me to log in now. All right, you log into Adobe Spark with your good old PWCS email. Company or school account. All right, let's see now if it does it. Okay, I'm gonna try Adobe Spark now. All right, so now I'm logged in. And you get to choose what kind of, you can have a pre-made template that you've already made in your Adobe Spark, and you can give each kid that template, or you can just say create new, and you can have them make a blank page. So that's a web page if you want your students to create that. You can have your students create a video, or you can have them create a post, which is like an infographic or a social media graphic. So I'm gonna say I want my students to make a video. So I'm gonna just attach a blank video template. And then I'm gonna say select. And now when I save this assignment, they're going to, when they open up, they'll have that blank template. They can log in with their account and they can start that video. And then when they submit it, it will be submitted through SpeedGrader, which is really great. So that's one option, Adobe Spark. Let me show you another option. So a Flipgrid assignment also is going to be an external tool. So you'll find Flipgrid in your external tools. Oh, okay, select. And if you've made a grid for your class already, it would be there. Let's see what happens when I save. Yep, so my Flipgrid you can see is embedded here. If it's my first time, I can create a course for this grid. And in the directions in the classroom, there may be some initial setup directions to add Flipgrid to your account. And we have those in the course for you. So, oh, a little buggy. But every external tool, that's how you would add it, is basically doing that external tool on an assignment. Now there's something else I want to show you. So those are LTIs. Look, whenever you hear LTI, you can also just think external tool. Other things that you might want to do are embedding things. So these are tools that don't connect and they're not going to be graded in SpeedGrader, but they can really add some engagement to your course content. And in our course here in the modules, I have like a zillion options for you on how to embed materials. So if there is something that you're thinking you may want to embed at the bottom of their classroom, and yes, you'll continue to have access to this classroom, you know, for the whole year. We're not going to close it. You'll see this module called Outside Application Integrations. And I have all the LTI tools and how you can integrate those. And then I have embedding content, and that's what I'm going to go over now. So these are tools that you can actually put on the page, but they don't talk to Canvas directly. So you're not going to be able to grade these things in SpeedGrader. You would have to transfer the grades over. But you'll see anything from like a Google form to Kahoot to quizzes to a Quizlet, other things like Desmos calculator, Desmos activities you can embed. Seesaw, you can embed Seesaw responses. You can embed GIFs to put GIFs on your page. If you use a S'more for your classroom newsletter, you can embed that. All kinds of things. Interactive whiteboard everyone can write on. So many options into the embed options. So I'm going to show you two of those options now. And the first one that I'm going to show you is a quizzes example. So quizzes, we had a quizzes on a lesson from Tuesday as an example practice for the accessibility quiz in our course. So I had put this accessibility quiz in. I make the quiz and I want to assign it as homework is what you're going to click. You'll give them the time, like when's the quiz going to run out. You can set that date so you'll know when it turns off. And what you're going to do is you're going to click where it says share a link. Okay. You're going to copy this link. You also need some code. So I'm going to go to my quizzes example. So everyone would use this exact same code. And this is what you're going to put in the HTML editor. So this is called an iframe. So an iframe is how you embed material. So I'm going to copy this code. I am going to go over to where I want my quizzes to be. I'm going to click these little greater than, less than, and a slash sign. And that's where it's going to take me to the HTML editor. So I'm going to click it. It's going to take me to the back side. You'll know you're on the back side because that toolbar is gone now. Okay, so that toolbar is gone. I'm going to paste that code. Then I'm going to go back to quizzes and I'm going to get that code for this quiz. And I'm going to copy it where it says share link here. So I'm going to take out where it says share link and I'm going to put in that quizzes code. So I just have to paste two things into this box. One, the iframe, and then two, the share code. Then when I click the HTML side again, and I go back to the front, you'll see that quizzes is now on the page. And I can save it, and all of my students will be able to take that quiz. They'll put their name in, and then they can start the quiz. So that's a really great way to add some practice items that aren't necessarily graded, just informative type work, some practice in asynchronous setting to let your students do some things. So you can see I can start the game right here on the page. The student doesn't have to go anywhere. So I won't do that whole thing, but that gives you an idea of how you can embed some engaging, fun quizzes onto into your pages. The next thing, another type of practice that I'm going to show you is a Quizlet. And for this one, Quizlet, I actually found this Quizlet that someone had made, and this is pretty cool. I taught her science, so I like it. Cosmology, so the different types of stars. And you can see wherever the circle is, the student has to identify the term. So this is they can see the visual here. But then when you click this little 3 dots, you'll see that it gives you an embed option. So a lot of other tools will also have that direct embed code. So that's great. So I'm going to click embed. And it just gives me that whole iframe code already. So I don't have to go find the iframe anywhere else. I can have a choice that I can do a matching game or I can have a learning game. So I'm going to do the matching game. I'm going to go back again. I'm going to go to the HTML side. I'm going to paste it, back to the front. And my Quizlet is there. It's going to look like it's not taking up very much of the screen, but when I save, it will fill up more of the screen and go wider. So those are 2 examples of embedding. And see, now the student can play the matching game. So I'm going to go, I'm going to say surface temperature. Here we go. Supergiants. Here we go. Oh, luminosity. Surface temperature. Ooh, red giants. Main sequence. All right, and it will tell, it's just good practice. Very great option for vocab or things like this, labeling items. So a way to add, again, engagement to your course. Not something that's graded, just something you're providing your students for practice. Yeah, some good options. All right, Biz, what kind of questions do we have? I'm sure we have quite a few.
Yeah, a lot of people are really excited to see all the different types. So can you make sure everybody knows how to get to that course in the module again?
Yeah, of course. So it's in our, the course that you're in, Camp Canvas Live. And at the very bottom, you're going to see a module called Other App Extension. What's it called? Let's see. Keep scrolling. Other application, outside application integrations. And I just have a whole list here. And each page that I've made will show you how to do. The first group is LTIs, and the second group is embedding content. And this is something that I continually update and evolve. So if there's something that you want embedded, like send it to me and I'll see if there's a way to embed it. And then I can send you, add it to the module for everyone's benefit.
And then also this question has come up a couple times. If you embed a quizzes, does it automatically pull the kid's name in? Or do they have to enter it?
They would have to enter it.
Okay.
And you guys can go into that accessibility quiz and you can experience that as a student. And that would, here, let's see, home, student view. It may still say my name because I'm logged in. We'll see. Modules. Here's that accessibility quiz. Yeah, my name's there, but I think it's because on my computer I'm logged into quizzes. So that would be why probably.
All right, and I love this question. So it's totally your opinion here, but it says there's too many LTIs to choose from. What 3 would you recommend starting with?
Flipgrid for student oral response, verbal response, creativity. Kids can make videos. If you're in a science class, they can go out and show you something in nature. If you're in PE, they can show you a skill. If you're in dance, they could show you a skill. It's great for performance-based video responses. 2, Adobe Spark. Have them create something. So create a video, create a graphic, or create a web page around the content you want them to create. That is really how we need to move summative assessments towards creation, because we have to have the integrity of the assessment, and you can't have that in a multiple choice test when it's online. So my number 2 would be Adobe Spark. And number 3, ooh, this is a hard one, but I would say for me, Nearpod. And I know not every school is a Nearpod school, but even if you are not a Nearpod school, you can embed a Nearpod onto your page. And it's just a really great way to deliver content and embed formative assessment into that. Number 1, Flipgrid. Number 2, Adobe Spark. Number 3, Nearpod. That's my answer.
Yeah. It looks like, I mean, there's so many questions. Some of them are show me this again, and can we, people just really want to take a deeper dive. So it seems like a lot of the questions are going to be better for doing some Q&A time officially.
Perfect. Yep.
So I'm going to say that pretty much everything else, let's hold on to that for Q&A. And if you got other stuff to wrap up with, I think we should go for it.
Sounds, that's actually all we have today. So why don't we share the form for those people that need or want to leave.
Pulling it up
and
right
then
now.
We'll go into Q&A time. So for Q&A, we're going to use the little hand raise icon in the chat. So just raise your hand. I do see a couple questions in the chat that I'll try and answer. Do students need an Adobe Spark account? Yeah, students can get to their Adobe Spark account via Clever. So that's how they'll log in the first time. And if they've logged in and done it, then it should associate with their account in the future. So Adobe Spark is the way, and that's also in the Wakelet. We have a student Wakelet for Adobe Spark that I can share. I have a Wakelet for everything. If you're not following me on Wakelet, you should, because there's a Wakelet for everything I've created, basically. If you don't know what Wakelet is, while we're waiting for the people to fill the form out before we get into Q&A, I'll just show you what Wakelet is. Wakelet is a great way to collect and organize resources for students. Let me put in. So you can log in and create a Wakelet account with your Microsoft account is what I would recommend. You can log in and create it there. I'm going to share the link to my account where you can follow me and see all of my Wakelets if you want. This one. All right, so that's a link to my Wakelet account where you'll see all the Wakelets that I have. If it's a light color blue, that's for a teacher. If it's a dark color blue Wakelet, that is for a student. So these ones with dark blue I've made, and those are things you can share with students to give them directions on how to do things. Light blue, those are teacher directions. So that gives you a little help in navigating the things that I've created. If it's not one of those things, it's just special. Like this, I'm really proud of this cover image right here. Anyway, so Wakelet is a great tool that you can use and collect resources for students. The reason I really like it, and I know a few other people really like it, is because it's very mobile friendly. So you can open a Wakelet on a mobile device and students can look at all the resources. We have a lot of kids that still use their mobile phones. Even if we're gonna give them a computer, they're gonna prefer to use their phone. So Wakelet is a great option. You can create a collection on a Wakelet. And so if you were just providing your students with a list of resources to study, this could be great. And then you could embed this onto your Canvas page. And then as you update the resources, it updates on the Canvas page. So these are all the things that you can add onto a Wakelet. You can add text, YouTube video, tweets, images, upload documents, and you can even put Flipgrid videos inside of it. But it just creates a really aesthetically pleasing, accessible way to share resources. And I say accessible because, let's see, because Immersive Reader is built into Wakelet. So you'll see if you open up Wakelet on a computer, that loading. You'll see the Immersive Reader is built in right here. And also it's super easy to embed it into your page. You just click the share button, share, click embed, and then you're going to copy this embed code and you would put that on your Canvas page, and it puts the whole Wakelet in there so that your students can see those resources right from in Canvas. All right, it looks like there's some hands raised, so we're going to get to those now. All right, Melanie, Stephanie, you're up.
Hi, good morning. Quick
Good
question.
morning.
When I go into my assignments and I click on external tools,
Yep.
and I get the list of tools,
Okay.
I'm not getting all of my school's list of tools. And
So-
my T-Spec added my class to our school's domain, but I know that we have Nearpod at our school.
So
I
it may
know
be
it.
that you can add Nearpod actually at your level, at the teacher level. So if you need to add an app in your course, you can go to settings.
Okay.
And you can go to apps. And you can look for that app.
Okay. I see the app.
Mhm.
It's it would be under installed though, right?
Is it under installed on yours?
I'm just thinking if the school had it, would it
If
not
the school has installed it, if your ITC's installed it, then it would be there. Maybe that they haven't installed it yet. So, you know, it's summer break for all the ITCs. We're not on until August 10th. So some
Okay.
things may not be done yet. Yeah.
So if I see it on there, I can add it manually, but it's asking me for
It's asking me for a code. Yep.
Yeah.
And so you can just Google Nearpod. Let's see. Nearpod Canvas integration, and it will take you to the page, and it's in the Nearpod Wakelet that's in our classroom.
Okay. As long as it's in the, I won't take up your time.
No,
I'll look
it's
it up.
fine. But I'll just show you. It will take you to this page, and it will give you that shared secret. Here we go. This page is linked in the Wakelet. Oh, nope, I don't want a YouTube video.
It'll be a Word doc, and all those links will be there for you. This is the step-by-step guide. So pretty simple, logging into your.
On this page, which is linked in the Wakelet, you'll see that you can get the LTI. You'll click this button and it will generate, when you're logged into your account, that shared secret and secret code. And you can
Okay.
put those in. Yeah, the grant.
And then that would automatically be embedded, and then it would go to SpeedGrade. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so Nearpod is really nice in SpeedGrader, and I can show you. Hopefully, let's see what my course is. So when you integrate it as that external tool, when you make an assignment and you do external tool, you'll select Nearpod. All your Nearpods will come up. I'll show you an example. Let's see. Here we go. Let me first show you what it will look like when the student's done it. So if you have a school Nearpod, this is what the grading will look like. So, oh, that's not the right assignment.
And while you're doing that, because I have Nearpods created already, and then I have quizzes embedded in the Nearpod.
Yep.
As they go through it. So those assignments, those quizzes will go right to SpeedGrade?
Yep, I'll show you. So this is the
Great.
report that is generated. So instead of getting, like, if you've used Nearpod for a while, you get those class reports.
Right.
Instead, you get one for each student.
Oh, great.
So you see, this is Michelle's report. I can see her participation. There was no quiz on this. That's why it's 0. But so she did fine. But I can see all of her responses to the questions here. If there was a quiz, I would see the grade here, and then I could go put it right in this box.
Okay.
Yep. And so then I would
Great.
just go to the next student. So that's a really great part about having School Nearpod. That you can do the LTI integration, and you can see each student's individual responses. All right, so now let me show you how you would make, if your school has Nearpod. So I'm sorry if your school doesn't. I think about 30 schools in the district do, at least. Billy, do you have updated numbers? How many have it? No? Okay.
I think he does, but he's on mute.
Oh,
Sorry, it's over 35.
okay. All right, over 35. So if you're at one of the over 35 schools, you will have this option. So I'm speaking to a third of our district. So if you have Nearpod as a school and you connect it with that secret code and shared secret, okay, then you can make an assignment. I'm going to call this one Nearpod. I'm going to click external tool. It's going to load my list. I'm going to go down to Nearpod, select it. All of my Nearpods are going to come up. So my whole library is going to come up on the screen. Then I'll be able to hover over, I want this one, and I'm going to make it student self-paced because they're going to be doing this at home when, they're not with me. I'll say select, and I get to add the due dates and everything here, and put any directions up here. And then when I save it, it will be embedded onto the page, and the student will just enter their name, and they will start the Nearpod at their own pace.
Perfect. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
yeah, and
Thank
then at the end
It's-
you'll get that that report, and you can look at each student's individual responses.
I can say that I started with my own personal, I paid for a Nearpod, and then our school added it. So it's worth every penny.
Yeah, if you do pay with your own account, I believe you can do the integration. So if your school is not a Nearpod school, you can, if you pay for that teacher account, I think it's $100 something a year. Is that sound
Yeah,
right?
but there are always there are always discounts.
There are
But our
always
school-
discounts.
But
Yeah.
our school grabbed it, so now I don't have to worry about it anymore. Thanks.
Yeah. But if you are not a Nearpod school and you're thinking about, okay, what is one thing I could spend my money on to save myself a lot of time, that could be really it. Has there anyone who has never experienced Nearpod? So you'll see in the student self-paced lesson, if I just start going through it, it's a mix of content and activities. So it's my PowerPoint on steroids, basically. I can add audio to this. So each slide I can speak over, and so I can talk to my students. And then I have free response, and you can see that in the free response, students can respond with audio instead. So it really helps those SPED and L accommodations of those who need to just give an oral response. You can have all kinds of activities, multiple choice, polls, all kinds of things. And another cool thing is your students can click right here anytime they're doing a Nearpod, and they can take notes. They can save it to their Google Drive or their OneDrive or send it to themselves via email. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna have, I'll save it to my Google Drive. Oh, it's gonna wanna connect it, okay. But at the end, they'll get a copy of every slide and the notes that they made on each slide. So they'll see like in a document, the slide and then their notes. So very powerful tool. If there's one thing you're looking to add to your arsenal.
And one more thing I wanted to add, if you have a PowerPoint, you can turn it into a Nearpod instantly. If you have a PowerPoint already, you can turn it into a Nearpod.
Yeah.
There's step-by-step instructions for that.
Yep, very easy to take those things. If you're really kind of easing into technology and you're a little bit scared, but you've been using some PowerPoints for a while and you love those, this is a great way to just take them to the next level and make them a little more engaging and active for students. And yes, Google Slides can also very easily be turned into a Nearpod with an add-on.
We've got a hand up, Katie.
All right, what's it?
Elizabeth.
Let's go, Elizabeth.
Hey, I am a choir teacher, and I will use musictheory.net. And as we were, talking, I went in and tried to find the embed code to what did you call the iframe code to put in. I was wondering if I could quick share my screen with you. You could just tell me what it is or what part I would have to replace, because I did their FAQ and I couldn't figure it out.
All right, let's see.
And I know that a lot of music teachers in the county will be using this. So if you show me, I can show them.
All right, you should be able to share.
Okay. So in the FAQ, I got this information right here. But when I clicked on embedding demonstration, it just showed me what it looks like when you would embed it. But if I have a link to like an exercise or a quiz, do I put it between these quotation marks? Is that where it is? Is that the part that would replace? Okay.
That's the part
That's all I wanted to figure out.
Yep. And
Okay.
then you put that on the back side of that page. Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Marie also has her hand up.
But one second. I need to
sorry.
write down music theory to add to my embedding list.
Yeah. I've got two more for you to add to that list too.
Okay, what is
that
it?
we have requests for in the chat are GimKit
Okay.
and Deck Toys.
Okay. All right. We'll work on those. Maybe not today, but sometime soon. All right. Who's next? We have a hand up?
Yeah, Marie has her hand up.
All right, Marie.
Hi, thanks. If you have a link that I can see how you capture a screen when you're doing the media, I tried to do that yesterday and I downloaded what you said you have to download, but I still couldn't figure out how to capture the screen. So if you can give me a step-by-step, that would be fine. You don't have to show it.
All right, so you're doing it with Canvas Studio?
Yes.
So we'll try and show, we'll see how my computer cooperates. All right, so you're gonna click record, and you're gonna click screen capture.
Right?
You'll have to first install the screen recorder launcher. I've
Right.
already installed it, so I don't have to go through that, but I do have to open it. Now, I'm on a Mac, so I don't know how different this will look on the Windows, but just so for reference.
You're not sharing your screen, Katie.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So, thank you. All right. Now you can see my screen.
Now we can.
All right, so instead you're gonna click record, screen capture. It wants me to launch the recorder. I will launch it.
Sometimes it's hidden behind because you're in full screen and it's sitting
Okay.
there behind it.
Oh, okay. I think that might have been my problem.
Yeah, and so then if you're not in full screen, you see it.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go. Oh, here it is.
There
Yep,
it is,
here. Yeah, there it is. So here I have, I can expand what I'm recording. Oh, expand my window. I can just set the parameters to my window. I'll just leave it here. And then I'm just gonna click record. It's now recording, 3, 2, 1. It's recording and yada, yada, yada. And I can click this, hopefully for drawing tools, but that's not working. My computer's probably just very mad at me for right now. Streaming and doing this, it doesn't like. All right, and then when I'm done, I'll click the pause. I can then say done. And there it is.
So it'll only capture what you're on currently.
It will capture whatever in that little dotted line area, yes.
Oh, okay, because I wanted to screen capture a document that I had so that I can talk about the document, but I can't move out of this screen to do that.
Billy, any tips?
Sorry, I was answering something in the chat about. Khan Academy.
She's
So can you say
saying that
that one more time?
after she opens it, she can't move to the document that she wants.
So I wanted to talk about a document that I wanted them to reference. So that's what I was trying to capture on the screen, but
Yeah.
it looks like we can only capture what I'm on right now.
Yeah. So do you have multiple monitors?
I do not.
Okay. So and then I honestly I think when you do screen recorder, yeah, Katie, exactly. I think instead of using the little window, does it give you the option to select full screen? We're going to see if it loads again. And then that way you know that whatever is on the screen is being recorded.
And apparently sometimes this happens when you do have it downloaded, it will say you need to do it again. It's not true.
Yeah, usually you can disregard that if you've done it one time. It's because, again, it's behind the window. Yeah.
So then I can change to this.
So yeah, and so if you just pick screen and then where it says size, will it let you pick full screen, Katie?
Yeah, maybe.
Feelings.
My computer is like.
Your computer is like, stop it! I'm so tired.
Full screen is there at the bottom, but I can't get to it.
Got it. Okay.
There, oh, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
There it is. Now I'm full screen.
So I would recommend doing that. By doing full screen, you know that whatever you bring up on your screen is going to be recorded, and you don't have to worry about, oh, did I forget that, or if I was using another monitor, did that not get included in the recording?
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to give the stage to Karen.
Hi, Karen. What's your question? I feel like I'm on a radio show.
You are.
Hey, Katie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, so I have a question about programming.
Okay.
I'm going to start with HTML because it's very easy to do virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned, would Spark be the best way? You talked about Spark with HTML earlier. I mean, I was going to use, it's just a simple word processing program is all I need, and I normally use Notepad.
So yeah, you
which-
would not use Spark for that.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Spark, yeah. So you're gonna just want them to write. You're gonna probably want them to just continue to write in a Notepad for doing HTML coding.
Okay. All right. Is that something that? Okay, I'll look into that. Is it easy to? I guess. Do I need to? I don't know what question to ask. Is that part of Canvas already, or do I need to?
No, so they would
bring
just
it
use the
in?
Notepad on their computer
Right.
and save it as a TXT file and then submit that
Right.
to you.
Okay. Great.
Yep.
Great.
So you're going to
Thank you.
choose online submission and then a file
Right.
submission. Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you so much.
Mhm. We have anyone next?
I don't think so.
Do we have anyone who wants to go next?
Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna speak to something that just came in a message to me, which is there is some confusion about some apps that our county approved, but that can't be integrated, and those are the ones that are already in Clever. So our rostering has to happen through Canvas for it to be able to integrate into Canvas. So BrainPop is available through Clever, so it can't be integrated into Canvas right now. Same thing with the Khan Academy question with the activities there, not just the videos.
Yep. If it's currently in Clever and you see it in Clever, you can't access it through Canvas.
Correct.
Okay, if nobody else has a question, I have a question. Katie, Biz, I know you covered this, but I looked away from the computer. So back in studio, when I want to get those captions, so I've got a YouTube video in there, and what do I do to get the captions? Other than
For
click?
YouTube, you can't if you're just importing that YouTube video.
You can't.
But you would have to download the YouTube video and upload it. When you do the add YouTube, you can't add the captions.
Okay.
That's why the best practice for YouTube is just really to add it directly on the page. The only reason I would recommend, the only reason or time to pull in a YouTube video to Studio is if you're gonna make it a quiz.
Okay, if I pull it in directly on the page, it's going to have all the recommended videos on the side?
No, it's just gonna have just
Yeah.
that video.
Just that video?
Yeah.
And it will have captions too?
It will have the captions from YouTube, yep.
Oh, okay.
So you're just gonna copy that URL and go to a page. Let's see, pages, show you. Let's go to YouTube.
And then can't you also bring it in through the external app? Because YouTube is one of those external apps, right?
You can as well, yeah. But I find it just as easy to just
Yeah, take it
pop
in
it
that way.
in.
You
yeah.
control everything this way.
So if I want to put this video in on a page, I would just get the share link. I feel like someone's ordering a new iMac after this.
I'm so excited.
Today we're going to discuss groups. Groups is a
Oh.
tool inside of
Why is
Canvas
it my voice?
that allows you, the teacher, to create a
Gosh, no,
I
that's
thought you were
terrible.
jumping in and just going to tomorrow's presentation. I was like, oh, wow, what's happening?
That's me at 3 in the morning.
All right, so if I want to go to a page or any rich text editor box, this could be an assignment. Maybe you put in a video above the assignment directions or with the assignment directions. So I've copied that URL and make a page. So I like to share videos with all the content. I don't like them to really be standing alone. That's my preference, but maybe not your preference. So you just put the URL here, click enter. You'll see it will make a little box. And then when I save, you'll see it will embed it like this. The kid can just click here It gets bigger and the captions will be there.
Okay, great.
It's easy. I think that's the easiest way to share a video, personally.
Yeah, it is.
And they can
Today
go
we're
they
going
can
to
go to full
discuss
screen from
groups.
here too.
Groups is a tool inside of Canvas that allows you, the teacher, to create a small group of
So painful.
You're very serious, Billy,
Oh my
on your
gosh.
videos.
Why?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate this.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
I have a question. It
All
probably
right.
won't be popular, but so I know how to use Flipgrid, and I know in Canvas students can upload their own video, right, for an assignment. So what would be the pros and cons of telling a student to use Flipgrid over the Canvas video submission assignment, or vice versa?
I think the submission assignment is like, if it's a private thing that maybe is not going to be something you want everyone else to see, right? So the idea of Flipgrid, I think, as much as it is submitting videos, it's building like a common classroom culture with that and having students be able to interact with each other asynchronously through video. So I think I would use a Canvas video assignment or a submission if it was something that I only needed to know or I only needed them to share with me. But if it's something like a class discussion and it's more of a sharing your knowledge, but also let other people learn from you sharing your knowledge, then that's when I would use Flipgrid. Any other comments or ideas about that, Biz or Billy?
I thought that was really a good answer.
I always tell teachers the Flipgrid is the formative assessment. So it's what we're doing to, like, it's your practice, I'm checking, and then the studio video submission that's the final one I'm grading.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I had
I
a
gotcha.
teacher who practiced 12th grade English, and we practiced using Flipgrid interview skills. So they did Flipgrid to practice the interview skills, interviewing each other through video. And then the real thing was them interviewing with her out in the hall. Like, so we can't do that, but that would be that private video then that they would submit.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah. Anyone else? All right, it sounds like we've gotten all your questions. Hopefully you walked away with some insightful new ideas of how to build your Canvas classroom. So we're gonna stop for today then. There's no other pressing questions. And have a great afternoon, and go look at some of our